Hey guys, I'm back. Here's Monroe. We've hung out all afternoon on and off because it's been so gross weather-wise here. So it's been a nice lazy day like I had said in my previous video. But I have another topic I wanted to chat about. Are we expecting too much? So what I mean by that, guys, and I'm getting right into it, of course. She's still wearing, by the way, I digress for a second. She's still wearing her jacquard sleep that she had on, but I just put a little, just a little cotton hat on with it because it's so just damp and chilly and yucky outside. So I wanted to just pop a hat on her, and she never really wears hats a whole lot. So it's nice just to kind of, I don't know, see how she looks in them. And I never know if I really like her in hats or not. It's kind of like I go back and forth. Like I like the idea of her in a hat, but I don't necessarily love them on her when I put them on her. Sun hats I really enjoy, but like tight fitting hats is what I tend to have a little bit of a not so sure about. But it is cute on her. Is she a hat baby or not? I'm not sure. So back to the topic. So my question to you all to ponder, I suppose, is are we expecting too much? Are we expecting too much in our dolls? Are we expecting too much realism from a non-living thing? It's a non-living object, essentially. We tend to look for realistic qualities in these dolls, and we seek out what is real to us, what is appealing to us, a certain look, a certain expression that may remind us of our own children, a child you knew, like picture of a baby that you saw somewhere that you just draws you in. But really when you really think about it, we expect a lot out of these pieces of artwork. We really do. Like I expect a lot, and I'm sure a majority of collectors out there are a lot like me in that sense, that when we're seeking out that ultimate realism, we expect a lot from that particular doll / dolls. So I've happened to have like narrowed down specifically what it is that I love. It took me a long time to figure out what those specific things were through trial and error, and also what I thought I loved versus what I actually loved. Like, I thought I would like a specific style body type, like, posable legs, but not legs that are fixed upright and bent. I never thought I would really love how her legs are. I always sought out like specific sculpts that had long straightened legs, but that you could bend them but also have them straight. She is not any of that. And in fact, I really didn't like the long, lanky, straight-legged dolls for many reasons. And I didn't know that until I had had several, and I just didn't like how they looked in clothing. I didn't feel like they looked alive, especially with an awake baby, because babies that are awake would be moving around. So I've learned that I like the illusion of movement, which is why I like that she has this curled up legs, especially this one that hangs out up here, because if you're looking at an awake baby, they're not just laying with no movement. And so it's like almost an illusion that she's moving. But it took me a long time to figure out that that's what I even liked. I would have never dreamt, if you asked me like 10 years ago, my ultimate dream baby, what would that be? I would have never come up with all of the features and things that this baby is. But it takes time to figure these things out. And my tastes may change again. Who the heck knows? I always thought I'd want armature and all of the bells and whistles in a doll, because when they were first coming out in dolls, I was like, gotta have them. I want posability. My expectations were high that I would just love everything about every new feature that's come out. And to my surprise, and probably to many out there that would be surprised, that I don't need all those features. And in fact, I love dolls more that don't have all of those features. Why? I have no idea. I think it might have to do with the softness of their arms, especially when you hold them. I don't think that it makes them less cuddly, but it makes their arms more fixed and don't move about as you're picking them up and holding them and shifting them. But I'm not sure. I have yet to put my finger on exactly what it is about armatures that I don't care for, other than it possibly could be that. I don't know. It's very interesting when you get down to it. But back to that question, are we expecting too much out of a non-living thing to look like a living, breathing human? And my initial answer is, yeah, we're kind of crazy for expecting to have those feelings that we would have when we look at a living baby, to have the same feelings transferred over to a non-living object. Yet somehow artists have gotten so good that they're able to bring that realism and lifelikeness to these works of art. Some I feel it more than others, obviously, but as like I've grown from doll to doll that I've had, there was something a little bit more real about that next doll, or something more that really just checked those boxes and just pulled at my heartstrings, like I needed to have the doll. I had some sort of connection with them. But it's a tall order. I mean, let's face it. When artists set out to make these creations, like, they have their own vision, I believe. And I find it interesting that, like, after an artist has put out like a new doll, a new edition, like for instance Claire with the Ethan edition, the latest edition that she's still working on, she had stated in her video that she's very proud of how the doll turned out, because it's how she envisioned the doll. It's all of the things she wanted the doll to be. And she's been doing this for how many years? And to have finally said that about that specific doll, that she's so happy with how he turned out. Obviously, her vision matched the final product of realism and movement and all of the things she hoped that the doll would be once she finished it, which is really pretty amazing when you think about it. Because I know that probably a lot of artists set out to have their doll be finished and look like one thing, and sometimes they don't turn out that way, or that you get bits and pieces of the things you wanted that turned out right. So I'm sure there's like so much trial and error with artists and their work they're putting out. And so I just think it's really interesting. I think it's amazing. I don't know how artists do it. So if there's any artists out there watching, my hat's off to you always. It's so cool to know that you picture something in your mind and you're able to bring it to life. And then we as a collector, we connect with that beautiful work of art and that lifelikeness, and that's what draws us to them. And so even though it is a very tall order to have all of these things that we expect in a doll, it actually does work. We expect a lot, but artists deliver, if that makes sense. And I'm sorry for my dog barking in the background. My other half is out grilling something and his dog is flipping out. I have no idea why. He doesn't like to be without him, I guess. So sorry for the barking. But to me, I think it's just super amazing. It's cool how it all kind of comes together for us as collectors. And I always say how much I love Claire Taylor, but it's all artists. Like, all artists have gotten us to the place we are now, to have such amazing, realistic, lifelike works of art. I keep calling them works of art because it is a work of art. I mean, the fact that these dolls fool so many people just says it all, right? Like, we can totally take these dolls out in public and we can totally fool people because they're not aware. So obviously artists are doing exactly what they set out to do, which is so cool, and I'm so grateful for that. But it does beg the question, when you really think about it, we do expect so much, and sometimes I really think that we're expecting way too much out of these dolls, because they're never going to breathe. Well, I mean, you can simulate breathing, but you know what I mean. They're never going to be a living being. They're always going to be an inanimate object. So the fact that we can connect with an inanimate object, I think that's also why non-collectors of dolls don't understand our connection with them, because they don't get it. They don't see the connection because it's not their thing. And because it's an object, and how can you love an object? It is because it's so real looking, and because artists have done their jobs to make these baby dolls so real and alive, like they should take a breath, like they should coo, they should make a newborn baby noise, you know, all of those things that living babies do. Blink, you know what I mean? It's just, that's all part of it. Oh, and that's so annoying when his dog barks like that. Makes me crazy. So I'm sorry for that in the background again. But all in all, it's an interesting question that I pose to myself every time I get a doll and I'm not in love with the doll. I've asked myself this so many times over the years because I've gotten dolls that seemingly were beautiful, but there wasn't a connection there. There was something the doll was lacking. And then I ask myself, am I asking for too much? Am I expecting too much? And at times I think I definitely am and have. But somehow I've made it to this point in my collecting, and she is enough for me. And I'm so very thankful for that. I finally got to the point where all of the things that I needed and expected out of a lifelike baby doll is in this baby. And I really hope that all collectors get to experience that, because it's a frustrating road, can be very difficult when you think you've found the one and it's not the one. You, in pictures and in video, the doll looks perfect, but when the doll gets home, something about it you just don't care for. I've been there. I've struggled with it. I've tried to get past it and say it's just me being too picky. All of those things that I've gone through over the many years of collecting all kinds of dolls. And this, I guess, it's just proof that it can be done. You can find that one dream baby that has everything you're looking for, but it takes a lot of patience and sometimes a lot of like trial and error, which is how I got here. And artists strive to give us the most realism that they possibly can, and I think that they do an amazing job, and I'm just very grateful. But also just posing the question, guys, I'd like to know what you think. As other collectors out there, even if artists are watching, feel free to comment. I'd be really curious to know your thoughts on the question that I'm asking. I even think so myself, that we are expecting too much, but somehow, some way, shape, or form, I am just thrilled and content and happy and in love with this little inanimate object. Lucky me. And I hope everybody else out there gets to feel that same way, because it's amazing, you guys. But okay, I'm going to stop rambling. It's just a question I've asked myself over the years, and I'm curious and would love to hear what other collectors and possibly artists, if you're watching, in your feedback and your thoughts on that question. So I'm going to go back to binge watching some TV shows. I've been just lounging. I feel like a bit of a sloth today, but it's good to have a down day where you don't do a whole lot. And so that's today for me and for Monroe. She says, hello, aunties. She's getting lots of cuddles from mommy. So I hope you guys are enjoying the rest of your Saturday evening, guys. And Monroe and I will see you all very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.